Hi guys, welcome back to the build of the Cole 6-ton mobile crane Tony James Set 10 model. It's the second session on there. Aim is to get to a Meccano size one of these, and as you will recall, last time round we got the ball bearing turntable to this stage here. What I'm hoping to do today is to, at the very least, get that turntable finished off. We got down to there, so there's just under half a page left to do on that, although I think it's a quicker section there than that was. And then see how much time we've got left. I intend to do an hour today, and see how far down this we can get, if any. So yeah, this will be the long version. Couple of days on from this or so I will release an edited down or summary short version for those who haven't got the patience for or time for doing this one. But for those of you, and I really I was surprised that as many of you as did wanted to watch this all the way through, because I honestly wasn't sure if anybody would watch it at all, but you know, pleasantly surprised that quite a few people did watch it all the way through. So you know, massively grateful to those guys who did. Hope you do again. And that being said, let's crack on. I have actually tried to get organised. I've got here some of the parts that we're going to need to finish this off. Having just a quick scan through it. The bit that I'm feeling slightly perturbed by is the sprocket chain that's got to be put around. I'm never very good at sprocket chaining. It's a weakness, but you improve your weaknesses by practicing and doing them and make them strengths. So that's what we're here to do today. So, right, here we are. Fit a washer and a 1.5 inch contract to the top end of the 2-inch axle above the 5.5 inch strip, taking care not to loose the wheels inside the 4-inch circular plates. So, because it's above the 5.5 inch strip, I'm thinking it's meaning here. So, washer. And what I'm also going by is the pictures here. Where's the pictures gone? Oh, I've got 2 pictures up. Ah, yes. The picture here, which shows the contract pretty much there. That's what I'm presuming it means for. So, here's 2.5 inch contract, and we're going to just undo that a little bit. Just push it through a little bit because give it sufficient to cling on to. There we go. Tighten up. So that, I think, is it from this side of things for the time being. So rest of the work is over on the top. So lightly grease the outside of the boss on a 2.5 inch gear wheel. This is a 2.5 inch gear wheel. Now grease, I happen to have this. I have no idea how old it is. I'm going to reckon that original Meccano graphite grease is at least 50 years old, which would be 1970, probably older than that. And there's got to be a finite supply of this, not making any more of this sort of age. I'm sure you can get graphite grease, but original Meccano graphite grease is going to be a rarer beast, I would have thought. But anyway, it is for making Meccano models, and here's a Meccano model, so lightly grease the outside. I don't know if this counts as light or heavy, to be honest with you, but it's going to get covered. So there we are. We have a greased outside of the boss. And had a 1/2 inch bolt through an outer roll from the boss side. Half inch. Looks longer. Half inch. That's my half inch. Outer hole will be that from the boss side. And then I'm presuming one ties it in with a nut. So okay, come out. That's that. Fit to the axis, the boss fits into the centre of the lower circular plate and up to the wheel disc. Right, there we go. That was there just to hold it in place, so let's remove that now. And that. The bolt head must be well clear of the circular plate. And yeah, if you, I don't think you can see that from the camera, but we've got a good 1/4 inch clearance there. That's slotted in. Must be well clear of this, and it says fit to the axle. It's not, it doesn't say anything about running free, so I'm going to, I'm going to need to put a grub screw in there. My grub screws are all, as are my normal nuts, but my grub screws are all hex heads, which makes them much easier to work with. You can do it like this. I do have a few really short ones for differentials where you need the shortness, and they are slot ones, but normal grub screw, it's like that. It's short and it fits in. So now you sit in there, and then I've got to, the hard bit is finding that grub screw to tying it up. Have you gone? There we are, I can see you. I've got you, you little bugger. So that's tightened up nicely, and that's spinning with the contrary. It's kept nice and tight because it fits in that centre hole. It's all coming together. I love it when a plan comes together. What I'm just looking at is add 2 washers. Boom, boom, boom. Add 2 washers and a 1/2 inch bevel gear. That's one of these. The grub screw in there is on a slot, but we'll let that one pass for the time being. So in the axle. Oh, so the 2.5 inch gear wheel is free to turn independently of the axle. So I'm guessing that means that I probably shouldn't have tightened up that grub screw. Let's take it back out again then. So otherwise it's not turning independently of the axle. So let's pull that grub screw out. There we go. Back in. So now turn independently of the axle. It does tend to drag it with it a little bit, give it a chance, but it will also turn independently. That's holding the axle there and it still turns. It will drag it with it if you let it go, but I'm presuming we'll tighten it up somewhere along the way so it doesn't do that. The boss forming a concentric bearing in the large centre hole of the lower circular plate. I'm not 100% sure what those words mean, but let's just presume it's done that. The bevel gear will mesh with the differential at a later stage. Jolly good, I'm sure it will. Right, fit a 1/2-inch pinion. What's that? Boss last to a 2-inch axle. Well, there's a 2-inch axle. I'm guessing that's what it means by boss last. Tighten up. Add a washer. And fit through the freehole on the left side of the lower circular plate. I'm going by this now. So, fit by the freehole on the left side of the lower circular plate. I don't know which one's left or not, but let's just work it on the basis of this picture. Because if I'm looking at this picture, then essentially we do it like that. And you've got your hole there, your hole. Let's look at that one. So hang on a second. If I do it like that, so that that middle bit there coincides with that, this doesn't really matter where this is because that rotates. Pinion bolt, no, pinion. Well, just on the basis of that being there, it's got to be in here, hasn't it? So it's got a washer. Fit through on this. So, okay, I'm presuming this is supposed to go all the way through, and it does, although it then catches with the girder there. Is that right? Yeah, insert the end of fit a washer and 1/2-inch conduit above the upper circular plate. So washer, go on, get on your bugger. Not a lot of space to work with here. Yeah, here we go. 1/2-inch conduit. Oh, grief. A circular plate, and is at the end of the 2.5-inch axle through the 12-inch girder, which actually is sort of nearly in line, but not quite. Have we got any free play to bring that into being? Because we're so close. There we are. Oh, and look, that then fits in, meshes with that, which I'm sure that's what it's supposed to be. The axle should turn freely. This is part of the steering linkage. But yeah, it turns freely. No, I mean, say freely, it's definitely a tight fit, but it does turn. Now then. Doesn't say whether that needs to be fitted to the rather not, but just for the time being I'm going to fit a grub screw through there just to make sure that I don't think it would drop out because it was quite a tight push fit to get through there, but just to make sure there's no escape of that making the movement sloppy, we'll tighten that up there. So it doesn't say anything about putting up above it, so okay, there we go. That's that grub screw in there, so that moves freely. And okay, when it does move, it moves that. It's not, it's slightly off centre because there's a portion where it's tight and then a portion where it goes loose, but see how that goes. You know, it doesn't tell you to do, and it probably won't make any difference at all, but let's just whack a little bit of WD-40 on here, which probably not going to make the slightest bit of difference to that. If you use WD-40 in Meccano, you want to use the silicone lubricant. The normal WD-40 will leave a black residue on your Meccano if you use too much of it over a long period of time. So silicone free is what you want. So let's just oil that up a little bit. And that. I don't think you need that one there because that's keeping that there. It's keeping that there. Let's get that spring clip out because it's doing. I don't tighten it now. Boom, boom. Right, so that's that. Turn freely. I think that WD-40 has made a little bit of a difference to how it rotates. So okay, that'll do for the time being. So we've got to that. The crane is rotated by a 1-inch sprocket engaging with a chain around the 5.5-inch circular girder. This is described fully later, but it is easy to fit the chain now. Oh dear, dear, dear. Hate doing these. Make a loop of chain, which is a tight fit around the upper 5.5-inch circular girder and located by its lugs fitted in the 8 long holes. Well, they're the 8 long holes. A slotted bearing for the 1-inch sprocket will take care of the threepenny bit shape. I don't know what that means, but we'll come to it. Just looking at this, it says upper, but I would have said, looking at that picture, that it's this one it goes around, which I would have called the lower. That picture is definitely around that one there. I suppose upper or lower depends on which way you're looking at it, but and again on this, I'm going for that. If anybody knows different, please let me know. So if you tighten it around this is a bit where I could very easily come a bit skewy. Because I'm no good at doing sprockets. Hate them. Fiddly bastard bit. Excuse me, fiddly bits and be tight? Will that be tight? I'm going to say we want to release that one there. Now, the technique for doing this, at least the way I do it, is to use these and bend the legs out, which you can see from my fingers, but and this is really fiddly. Bend the legs out, pinch them in a little bit, and then you can pull that bit off, which is fine, but then putting it back together again with the next one and keeping it so the legs are somewhat like straight when you bend them back, that's an art form. So around there, the lugs do locate in there just about, I suppose. Not at all happy. Getting your buggering thing. Let's see if it works any better if I tighten this up outside and then just try and pull the thing down over it. Probably won't do, but there you go. Right, that should fit in tight. That's the bottom one, isn't it? That's the bottom one. If you can see, I think it will be quite tight, so well, maybe it had to be one look tighter than that. I don't know. I mean, it is kind of fitting in. Does it fall? It doesn't fall out when I do that. Take care of the threepenny bit shape. I'm not sure we've got a threepenny bit shape as such, but I'm also not sure I've got it tight enough. Maybe it should be another link tighter, but it's staying where it is. For the time being, we'll call that good. And if you know better that I haven't got that tight enough, let me know later on down the line. And that will suggest that we've come to the end of the bearing. So, the turntable. You know what? Not totally happy with that. But it is fitting. We'll have to look at tying up later on if we need to do. So, that's the end of this bearing for the time being. Like that. Like that. Like that. There. There. I'm hoping you're getting all this alright. So, bearing end. Let's put you to one side over there. So that's the end of page 1. We're moving to page 2, and that's going to be the chassis. So, right, put this lot down here out way for the time being so I can access my drawers. Got that. The chassis, which the picture I've got is that one there. That's the chassis. I've got some more pictures. Let's have a look. Some sort of side-on. Well, there's my pictures. I'll keep those out. D2. Come back to D. 3. Come back to. The chassis D2. So D2 is drawing 2. I guess. Looking at that, so that's going to be that one. So drawing 2. This is different to the real one to accommodate the oversized bearing. Alright, we'll let you off. Each end is a 5.5 inch by 2.5 inch flange plate, which is, I'm guessing, these. Ooh, yeah, 5.5 inch by 2.5 inch flange plates. Going flanges facing by a 12.5 inch flat girder on the outside, a 12.5 inch handle girder on the inside. So a 12.5 inch flat girder. Which is the longest one I've got there. Well, I've got one of those left in circulation. Let's get a few more of those out. Twelve and a half inch flat girder. Come on. It's probably easier just to leave them flopping loose, but I want them to be together like this. So there we go. We're about half an hour into the build, so it took half an hour to finish that. So that ball bearing turntable, I did about an hour last time round, and I've done half an hour now. So it took about an hour and a half for me to do that ball bearing turntable. So yeah, as I say, I've no idea if that counts as being a reasonable speed or incredibly slow. I've got a feeling there are people who can put this stuff together a lot quicker than that, but that's me for the time being. Right, that's that. Meccano grease out of the way. And how can I get a 12.5 inch angle girder? Is that you? That's 12.5 inch angle girder. Flange facing. 12.5 inch. I'm gonna have to read this a little bit more carefully. You're finished with now, so get out of the way. None of these pictures are right helpful on this. So hang on a second. Inside. Are we saying it's on just the one, or are we saying that we need to do this on both? That would be like that. And then that will be like that. Fit through the top hole of the flange, and the end round hole, the long hole flange at the bottom. So I'm thinking like that, so I need one on the other side, so I hope I've got a spare one of these kicking about already. Otherwise we might be finishing early. I'll have one for next week. But I'm just facing by a flat camera, it's not on the outside, 12.5 inch on the inside. I bolt through the end round hole of the flat girder. Fits through the top hole of the flange plate. And the end round hole of the 12.5 inch angle, which has its whole long hole flange at the bottom. Guessing like this. Yeah, that makes sense, because then that's going to be a carrying one for whatever. I'm guessing like this, but it is, to be honest with you, best guess at the moment from that description. I think I'm right. Where's my screwdriver out that way? Like that. Have I got any drawings that just confirm this at all? Not great. Maybe that sort of looks a bit like that. I'm going to have to go and refer, I think, to some of the websites out there. To, the guys who've done this previously. If you're watching guys who've done this previously, a nod to tell me I'm doing right would be appreciated. All four corners are similar, but I think I'm doing that like that. Yeah. Let's see, do I have another flat? Do I have one on the model that I can... Oh, you buggering thing. There we go. So that's like that. Do I have another flat in here, or am I going looking for one elsewhere? Not in here, but possibly. Bear with me. The flats up here. No. borders, no flats of the right length. I know I've got one down at the office, and it could be that doing that end across is postponed until I've gone down and got it. I'll leave any more in there. Any more in there? No. Okay. Never mind, we can just work down this side here. I'm looking at it because I'm looking at this and there's some building up to do on this side, which is what we'll do with the remainder of the time that we've got here. So, two and a half inch angle girder. That'll be you. I think we want to is one, and then this is we'll go by a corner. All four corners are similar. I'm looking at that. They are indeed. So that's 2.5 inch. So 2.5 inch angle girder. Bolted long hole to the outer lower corner of the flange plate. So we're going to say like that. The outside, outer lower corner. Yeah, it's got to be in line with that, I'm guessing. So like that. And if this is going to be the chassis, I guess it gives you some idea of how big the model will sit at the end of it. You know, it's not going to be a massive model in terms of space it takes up, which is good. That's part of the reason why I went for this one. Corner, go sit. That is somewhere in this lot here. I'm sure I've got them. Thank you. Good spring, sprocket chain. There. Maybe you're not in these. Maybe you're in there. I don't follow at all the sort of recommended order for there's a corner gusset. The recommended order for a 10 set drawer is just stuff dumped into them, unfortunately, because, well, you get more in. So then, that's then going to go up. And then we're going to between the flat and angle girders at holes 5 and 8. So should be a gap there formed by this. That coming down below that, like that. Yeah, that's going to work nicely. I guess that just strengthens it all together. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Get through, that's you. And at least with this, you know you're going to have something like a right angle with this triangle supporting it all together. Should be something like square at the end of it. Good. That's that. That's there. I will be at the Sheffield Meccano Guild meeting next Saturday if anybody who's listening is going to be there. And if you are, I'd love to say hello. Come up and tell me you've been watching. Be great. I know a few people who are going to be there, or I've only sort of seen the names on the internet, and it will be nice to finally meet up with some people in person. After 18 months of everything being locked down, it'll make a change. So we'll do the same again here. Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a bit hard though when you just bolting the chassis together and there's no gears and stuff involved. Normally these are more straightforward and you can just bugger on and produce something fairly quickly. But well, he said, drop it back like that. Come on. Because you don't tend to have to think about it too hard once you've got the idea worked out. I'm still not sure that sprocket chain is going to work out fine. That's the bit of what we've done so far that I'm not concerned would be too strong a word, but that I've got the most doubts about, shall we say. I think I might have to tighten that up. You can tighten up there as well. There we go. Like that. Like that. Gonna be lovely. So he is. Not quite square. Let's get this square. That's square. And the way that this works, I'm more confident that we've got this arrangement right as well. It's sort of coming together nicely for these corner brackets, gussets I should say. So there we are, so far, yeah, that bottom one there. I've got another set 10 down at work with the various angle girders, and clearly I've robbed from there already into some of the models kicking around somewhere in here, so during the course of the next couple of days I shall go find another 12.5 inch flat girder so that we can finish this off. But that's nice and straight. That ties in, you can see there, with that drawing like that, and that's pretty good. But I think we're pretty much as far as we can get with this like this until I can get this other 12 and now finish a flat girder. So I think that's it for this week. Company up with that, which is a shame, but we got further than I thought. I wasn't sure we'd get past the turntable, so we're good. Okay then, jolly good. See you all next week. I'm going to try and do these every Sunday, so that's the intention. It's my weekend project. Do them on the Sunday, film them for you and get them out on the Sunday afternoon. Although, don't hold me to it. Best laid plans of mice, men and baldies and all that. But we'll see you later.